guys, just chopping up some vegetables because I think, if I remember correctly, one of the last times I talked to you guys, I mentioned something about a soup. Well, tonight, I'm gonna make that soup happen. We're gonna make a roasted tomato vegetable soup. I say roasted tomato because that's gonna be our soup base, but I'm gonna have some nice chunky vegetables. And I like to say, be creative with this recipe. Whatever you find in your kitchen that's a vegetable, chop it up, throw it in the soup, and then get back to me. Cooking with the vegan zombie. I have some tomatoes roasting in the oven with a couple of cloves of garlic at 400 degrees, about 35 to 40 minutes. I'm gonna pull those bad boys out and put them right in that big saucepan right by my shoulder over here. I didn't have a lot in my kitchen because, you know, I couldn't go out and forage, but I have some green beans that I'm gonna chop up. Look at the chop I got up on these green beans right here. I cut the ends off like so, and then I just cut them into little chunky chunks. I've also got, as you can see here, carrots that I have a small dice on. Carrots, you know, you could just chop them into small little rings if you want, if you don't have time to chop them into a small dice, you know. I've got white beans left over from a previous recipe. I'm gonna use the leftovers in there. That's gonna pack a little protein punch into this soup. Last but not least, our friend Mr. Potato. 3 of them. We are the 3 amigos. And to flavor it up, some herbs, some spices. Oh yeah, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this knife. It's crafted by A Cut Above Cutlery. Really great, affordable knife. It's my go-to knife in the kitchen lately. And you can save even more money by using our coupon code ZOMBIE10. Details are below. Make sure you check this out. This will make a great gift, or you can even use it yourself. That's what 40 minutes at 400 degrees will do to some Roma tomatoes with maybe a head of garlic. As you can see, the garlic's not totally burnt. It's just squishy and roasted to perfection. So, in here, I have some homemade veggie stock. It's about 6 cups. You know, this recipe calls between 5 and 8 cups. We're about 6 cups in here. It all depends on how juicy and frothy your tomatoes are once you roast them. Now, when this cools off, be careful. It's very hot when you take it out of the oven. Make sure you don't lose any of these juices. This is the best part, the juicy juices. We're gonna spill it right into the pan here. Oh, there we go. I already heated the veggie stock up. It's not on right now. So while your tomatoes are roasting, you could bring the stock up to a boil or just above room temperature, just so you can do this next part, which is the immersion blender. If you don't have one of these guys, you can use a regular blender at home. Just try not to use it with the super hot liquid. You've seen me burn my face off. So we're gonna stick this in here. We're gonna turn it on and just wiggle it around until it makes a nice creamy soup. Alrighty. Kick the heat back up. Bring it to a boil. It's just the veggie stock, the tomatoes, and no seasoning yet. So this is the point where you want to season your soup. I'm gonna go with a teaspoon of salt. You might need to add more at the end, but let's start with that. 1/4 teaspoon or 1/2 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. I encourage you guys to be creative with your herbs and spices, whatever you have at home. I'm in the mood for some celery seed in this soup, so I'm just gonna do like a 1/2 teaspoon. Very potent stuff, so be careful what you add with that. It wouldn't be one of my recipes without a little bit of that smoked paprika, so we're gonna go with 2 teaspoons of that. I'm gonna finish it off with a 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil. And I've mentioned this to you guys before, but when you're making a soup that's going to be cooking for, you know, any longer than an hour, go with the dried herbs because they're way more powerful than the fresh ones. They pack a more of a punch, and it allows the time for them to really cook through if you put them at the beginning of the soup. By all means, in the summertime, you can go out into your garden and pick your basil and put a nice chiffonade right on top. Stir that in at the very end, because if you were to put fresh basil in this at the beginning, it would be completely destroyed. Did you guys hear my voice crack? You could stop here if you wanted to add a cup of almond milk or some sort of vegan creamer, soy milk. Stop right here. You have a nice creamy soup. Make a nice vegan grilled cheese sandwich and call it a night. Curl up with a book or an episode of The Walking Dead. I don't have cable. But I could just go outside and watch zombies. It's like my own episode every day. Carl! We just got it up to a boil, so we're going to add our hardest vegetables first. That's the potatoes and the carrots. I'm gonna cover it and turn it down to a simmer for about 10 minutes. So the green beans, stir those in. About 5 more minutes. All right, it's been 5 minutes. It looks like the green beans are nice and soft. I'm gonna finish it off with these white beans, which are nice and tender. Stir that in. The white beans I use for this recipe are Great Northern beans. It's ready and willing to be eaten. I don't know if it's willing. Can a soup be willing to be eaten? The bowl's a little hot, so we're gonna bring it down to here. And I'll try it up close and personal. But take a look at this bite. Oh, that's a hearty soup right there. There, you can see everything. Everything that's in there. Sometimes I'll stir in a little rice or even pop in a little bit of barley, but you want to use very little bit if you do that. Like a quarter of a cup per 6 cups of liquid, because that expands a lot. That's the only thing that I might want to add to this, but this is good just the way it is. A nice, chunky vegetable soup. Oh man, it's so good. You can taste everything from the very beginning of the recipe when you started roasting the garlic and the tomatoes, all the way at the end when you stirred in the very last smoked paprika. You really get that at the end, but it adds a depth to this soup. And I love food in depth. I like things to be easy to cook, but really explosive with flavors, and that's what this soup is. It's a good stick to your bones kind of soup where you can go out and fight all the zombies in the middle of winter, like I'm about to do right now, actually. Make sure you guys subscribe and survive. And I've got some work to do. I'll see you later. You thought I was gonna say zombie. Do you believe in magic? Not burnt to a crisp. Oh, there's a cat! Get out of here, you little... Time to go into the blender. Now, it puts the lotion on its skin. I'll try it down here. I'm gonna blow on it, but look at this. Nice, hearty... I love using tomatoes as the base of the soup and mixing in all those herbs and stuff, letting it cook for a nice hour. What the fuck are you laughing? Oh, you a-hole.